Hi, it's Steve here from Traxidy, and we're going to show you how easy it is to add, assess, and monitor project risks in Traxidy. So let's get to it. Starting on the Traxidy dashboard, we'll select the project record for our sample project, the new coffee shop build. Clicking on the project risk chart will take us to the risk register area. In this area, we'll record a new risk, assess the risk, and add the risk response plan. As a best practice, record all your project risks in the risk register. Traxidy helps you to identify and manage the most important risks in your project. First, by setting a risk threshold or risk rank line, and second, by scoring each risk to determine the priority risks in your project. Traxidy uses probability and impact to assess each risk and determine a risk score, and this risk score is used to prioritize the risks. To be a priority risk, the risk score first needs to be equal to or above the risk threshold or risk rank line for the project. In Traxidy, those risks above the line are compared to each other and ranked to determine the importance amongst the priority risks. Each risk above the line is ranked in order. We'll go into more detail after we add and assess our risk. Let's add a new risk by clicking the Add New Risk button to open the new risk window. Recording a new risk begins with a clear statement of what the risk is. For our sample project, our risk statement is we won't be fully staffed for our grand opening. Next, we choose the project key constraints that would be impacted if the risk was to occur. In this case, our not being fully staffed could affect both the schedule and the budget. This key constraint information helps to provide a focus for the risk contingency plan and documenting any changes to the project if the risk were to occur. Next, select an owner from the project list of contacts. Our risk owner is our store manager, Jerry, who does the hiring. You can set up those risk owners to collaborate using the contributor access in Traxidy so they can update the mitigation and contingency plans from their own project work dashboard. Next, we'll estimate the probability that the risk will occur at 75%. With our risk impact scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the very highest impact, we estimate a relatively high impact and select 4. And you can see the risk score of 300 is automatically calculated. When first recording risks, the mitigation and contingency information can be updated at a later time. Your team members that are most familiar with the risks are a great resource to determine the probability, impact, and response plans. So we save this risk, and the record of the risk is now in the risk area. As we mentioned before, for each project, the risk rank line or threshold in Traxidy is set using a probability of 70% and an impact of 3 for a risk rank line of 210. The risk rank line is easily adjusted for each project and can be updated at any time right here in the risk area or in the project settings. Traxidy makes it easy to tailor the level of acceptable risk or risk appetite for your organization, your sponsor, and for each project. Looking at the record for the risk we just entered, we can see that it has a risk score that is above the risk rank line, and so it's shown with a number, ranking it against all the other risks also above the risk rank line. The number 1 ranked risk is your highest priority risk to manage. Any risks that have a risk score below the risk rank line will not be ranked. When viewing the risk register area and the risk records, you can sort any column to support team discussions and easier meeting facilitation. Clicking the arrow beside the column title will sort the records. Clicking anywhere on the risk record opens the risk details window. Here you can update details and add and modify risk response planning information. Any updates to the risk mitigation and contingency area is recorded and available for reference. Access historical updates as needed. Closing the details window and looking at the charts at the top of the screen, we can see the risks overview chart. Ranked risks, the ones with a risk score above the risk rank line, are part of the count of priority risks and appear in the risks overview chart. This chart appears in the project information area and the project status report. The line chart in the top right shows the number of open ranked risks over time. This also appears in the project status report. Throughout the normal course of a project, this line of open ranked and priority risks would be expected to rise at the beginning of the project and show a downward trend as the project progresses. At this point, we'll return back to the dashboard where you can see the new risk is now included in the open risks chart tally for this project. That's it for how to add, assess, and monitor risks with the Traxidy Risk Register area. Thanks for taking your time to review this with us.